Okay, let's give this a whirl. Okay, let's see if we can go ahead and do this. All right, this is the AI literacy guide. I downloaded this from San Diego Community College. It's a good lesson on just showing an intro to generative AI. We've been talking about that this whole week. We had a lecture on it yesterday. I'll go ahead and show the objective. I'll show that later. Let's just go ahead and roll through the presentation. Okay, I just want to thank Mr. Gomez for putting this together. He actually just gave this about 6 weeks ago, so this is hot off the presses, basically. There's Mr. Gomez there. He's a full professor of emerging technologies at San Diego Community College. So, all right, you guys don't have to go ahead and do this with the QR code, but just some primer questions. Just want to start out. First, are you already using AI? Probably. We've talked a lot about that in this class. What are you most excited about when it comes to AI? I'm excited about talking to my robot like Jarvis from Iron Man. That's how these things operate. At least that's how I've been talking to them. That's what excites me the most. What are you most concerned about when it comes to generative AI? These things are supposed to be as smart as us now, as of just the past few weeks. So what are the ups and downs of that? What are some other professional development sessions or emerging technologies would you like to see? Video, generative video. OpenAI just dropped that a few days ago, so that's a big one. Okay, understanding AIs and LLMs. So basically, it's this. You guys have had a lot of experience doing this already. We're going to talk about doing prompting, which is basically just speaking to it. There's a whole field based around this now. It's called prompt engineering, and essentially what that is another form of computer programming or software engineering, but in the form of English, because the computer can now understand a computer program written in that language instead of something like Java or C++. And then we'll gain some practical strategies for using this in the classroom, hopefully your lives too, because that's the main point here. What is AI? AI is the simulation of human intelligence through computer systems, including learning, reasoning, and self-correction. So that means the computer program has at least some degree of decision-making autonomously. So that is the big thing here. We've given the computers permission to learn. And through that, it does cool things like generate text, write books. Now it does video. So that's it. It's just simulating human intelligence. It isn't replacing human intelligence. It's different from human intelligence. Okay, generative AI. That's a subset of AI. That means that if you have a big pie, small portion of that, a big pie of AI, one piece of that is generative AI. Generative AI is specific. It's based on training data, it's called. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, Chat GPT. So what that means is it's generative. It comes up with new stuff. It's pre-trained on training data, it's called, and simulations. A whole bunch of simulations are run in order to predict the future on any given thing, like writing text. The whole essence of a large language model is to predict the next word. Sounds simple, but in order to predict the next word in a conversation, you have to understand that conversation and all other conversations, essentially. So given processing power, we're able to do that now in a reasonable amount of time and have the computer give us useful stuff. So this feels like science fiction to somebody my age. I took my first class in artificial intelligence, just in general, in 2000 at Case. And I remember thinking at the time that this was just going to be an elective and a nice to know kind of thing, because this would never happen in my lifetime. It seemed so far away then, and that was 24 years ago. Not that long. ChatGPT, we talked a bit about that. There are a bunch of others. Large language model is another term for ChatGPT, essentially. It's the technical term for what ChatGPT is. It is a large language model. So OpenAI's got ChatGPT, Google has Gemini, and something called Palm. That's kind of going by the wayside. Meta, Facebook, has something called Llama. Now you're seeing that rolled out in the Facebook app and the Instagram app. As far as video and reel generation, it has all kinds of AI-based tools. That's all based on Llama. Claude is another one I want to direct your attention to. That is the big alternative to OpenAI and ChatGPT. And so it's one I recommend personally. There's some other minor ones here, and the last one, though, is not minor. That is Grok, that is XAI, that is Twitter, that is Elon Musk. All the pluses and minuses of both Twitter and Elon Musk are rolled up into that AI. So it's both more powerful and more dangerous. So keep an eye on that one. Okay, how do LLMs work? There's a library of data. Books, articles, academic papers, websites, whatever. Anything you can think of. Then you set the program loose to start recognizing patterns in that data. This is called the training. This is done before you use an LLM. Somebody, an engineer, a computer engineer, something you guys might become, took this data and ran a bunch of simulations based on that data to figure out patterns. So when you get an LLM, it has the program that predicts plus all of this pre-processed data that got generated before. And that's used to predict the future. For example, sentence. Why do cats? What's the next word? Purr. Okay, that's a good one. And that's based on statistics. How often does the word purr occur after the word cats in English in general? There's a percentage that's attached to it. I don't know what it is, but the highest percentage one was purr. So it predicted purr. Next sentence predicts the next word. When? Next word. There. Happy. Okay. Now, it may have come up with a different sentence. This is the one that was most likely to occur in the average English language dictionary, say, for example. So on the right, you can see the varying results. Selected per, when, there, happy. You can see what might come out instead. And it definitely has different meaning. LLMs nest. They're checking on this stuff to get the most proper meaning out of it. LLMs can understand human meaning now. Okay, why all the hype? What does this graph mean? In the first 3,500 days of Netflix, the number of users grew like this. So that means it took 3,500 days to get to 10 to the 8th users, which is 100 million, I believe. We got 100 million ChatGPT users in like 20 or 30 days. So it's growing exponentially faster than Insta, Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, and Netflix, of course. That's why you're hearing so much about it. The front door of the internet is changing. You're, I think, personally, likely to start using this instead of Google. So that's what I go to and ask questions of my ChatGPT friendly robot instead of Google, which I've been doing since I was your age. Since I was a teenager, to have a question, you go into Google, you type in the question, you get an answer. That's changed. The front door of the internet has changed. Now I go to ChatGPT. Okay, AI can write, so you've probably seen the Grammarly commercials, Google Docs, Microsoft Word. Um, in a junior class, I've shared with the two students who are doing the writing project, and I'm using it to write a book myself, about 100,000 words. Um, so it's powerful in that it's able to do lots of interesting things. Okay, hopefully that's still recording, but we'll get going. Okay, what is rhetorics? It's English class. What this is proposing is that your English skills are of the utmost importance now, because in order to be a good computer programmer, to talk to an AI, you have to be able to communicate what's in your mind. And that's all that's required anymore to be a good computer programmer now. So that means that it is no longer folks like me with the skills, programming skills, that is important. It's going to be the people, the English majors, who can communicate to a computer that are going to be the most creative and honestly, I think these are going to be the highest paid folks going forward. So, what does that mean for engineering? That means all engineers need to develop great communication skills. That's been true since before I came along, and it will be in the future. It's even more so now if you want to maintain your edge, earnings edge, I should say. Okay, it can do more. I can attest to this. I've shown you guys a bunch of this. It can generate artworks uh, from just a prompt, as if we were talking to it. Hey, Mr. LLM, please create me an image that says or does blah. A cyberpunk image of a cityscape, say, for example. Video. This is the cool one. Just 3 days ago, ChatGPT, OpenAI dropped Sora, Sora. That's the name of their generative video program. I've been waiting in line patiently for the last 3 days in order to uh, get early access to it. That may or may not happen. We'll see. Uh, but this is going to be cool stuff. This is going to be you and me creating studio level movies in our own homes, in our own clouds, basically. So imagine what you can do with that. Okay, AI agents. This is getting into autonomous programs and science fiction like Jarvis. So Jarvis is an AI agent. You ever seen Knight Rider kit, the car, that the program kit itself is an AI agent. So what those are basically personifications of programs that have autonomous decision-making capability, like executing contracts, like buying a house, for example. Now you might ask, hey, is that legal? Nobody knows. So that's going to take years and years and years for that to shake out. But the important thing to take away from this is that it will happen and then it will shake out eventually. There will be AI agents that will outlive you that can make decisions on your behalf. So, what does that do to human mortality? I don't pretend to have the answer, but those questions are going to be asked by my generation and especially by yours. You guys are on the ground floor of this stuff. Okay, it can design websites, it can write code. The one on the right, it's one of the first things it could do. This was the first job I ever had coming out of college. I was a software engineer, like some of you guys want to become. And that job no longer exists. Why? A robot can write the code better than me. And that's no joke. Okay, prompting. Prompting is just what it sounds like. And it's as if you were talking to a friend via text or DM or whatever, but you're talking to an AI instead. And the AI is giving back useful responses. The art of talking to that AI and getting it to produce useful responses is called prompt engineering. And that's mainly what we cover in this class, how to prompt it to do something useful for other parts of the class. Complex prompts. You can see I have found that the limit on prompts is about 300 pages of text, which is about 100,000 words. And you're asking yourself, why would you want to do that? Well, I was writing my book. I fed it the entire book, and I said, hey, please design a cover based on this book, all 100,000 words that is directly most applicable to the book that I'm going to use for the cover. And it did it. Pretty interesting. Okay. These are just more prompts, so we can go into more detail here. I'll show you guys some videos here of some use cases. Okay, how to generate strong prompts. It's all about context. How are you feeling? How's the robot feeling? Those are all important things. Those will provide context to the robot to help you provide better answers. If you come up to it and say, please write a book, the first thing it's going to say, don't know what, tell me about what. What does it need? It needs more context, it needs more description. So AI works best with roles in mind. So when you talk about people or animals, mentor, coach, tutor, teammate, student, tool, simulator, TV, fan, things, AIs love that. The more specific you can be about things, the better answers you're going to get. Okay. This is getting into way more detailed stuff than we need to at the moment, but the idea is, in order to be a great AI user, prompt engineer, it's called, you have to be a great communicator, which means you have to be a good English student. So it's kind of weird in an engineering class, but that is the truth. Okay, we got some challenges of AI. Bias. It used to be when I was a kid, the computers always gave the same answer if you give it the same inputs, it gave the same answer every time, no matter what. Sounds kind of weird now. In an AI, you're going to get different answers every time you ask it the same question. So that inherently says there's a bias there. It's biased towards the average. That's what it is. AI is the average of all humanity, essentially. So it's going to bias towards average, towards stereotype, in other words. So there's all kinds of generational, age, sexism things there, racial things in there that are hugely important. Say, for example, facial recognition software works more or less well depending upon your skin tone. That is something that absolutely needs to be solved. It's gotten better, but it's not solved yet. Some ethical questions. Is it okay to use this to write your papers? I've been encouraging you guys to use this. The reason is because you are going to have this available to you. So my thought is, my best avenue forward is to teach you the most responsible way to use this stuff, which is to view it as an assistant. You always have responsibility for the work product, it's called, papers, videos, whatever, that goes out the door. Just because it came out of a robot does not mean you are not responsible for it. So I found this to be pretty natural to someone who's managed people before, my family, in other words, or people at work. I managed hundreds of people at work. To delegate stuff is to assign stuff to a AI program. As you guys get older, that'll start to feel more natural. Give it stuff that I don't want to do. That's where I need to help focus your guys' minds with this stuff. Okay, like anything else, these days, generative AI executes in the cloud. So that means you don't own your data anymore, essentially. So data privacy and protection, intellectual property, environmental sustainability. AI is very not green. What I mean by that is it takes a lot of water and it takes a lot of power to run an AI. In order to have a typical conversation, it takes the equivalent of about a glass of water. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you add it up to all the conversations that happen every day, it's a lot of power. That is why the OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is openly saying they're going to need fusion power or some other type of power to power the next generation of AI chips and training. Okay, some opportunities. I could speak from experience that instead of hiring an assistant, you can hire an AI for $20 a month to do things like write your emails or answer emails or do any other kind of communication. Uh, AI now handles my calendar, sends me reminders. So basically, I have programmed my AI to do just about everything Jarvis does. So that's before I speak to my wife in the morning, I now speak to my robot. That's going to be how things are for everybody going forward. I can provide real-time insights. Uh, During school, I take a class at Kent State. It's able to real-time record and then analyze what was being said in class. Pretty cool. Personalized learning. So, case in point, this class. Almost all of the lessons are coming out of generative AI. Plus my own head. I have to direct and make sure the lessons are okay, but the content itself is being primarily generated by the computer. Okay, we can accelerate research like new drugs for medicine, enhance collaboration. Before too long, we're going to have hologram projection. It's already being prototyped, I believe. It's been prototyped already. So imagine being in the same room and not having to be in the same physical place. So it's a complete separation of physical and virtual self. Pretty wild stuff. Okay, let's close with this. AI is online and in-store shopping, robotic tractors, warehouse fulfillment, insurance rates, NASA images from space. AI is not alive. AI is not, I don't know if I agree with AI is not smarter than us. It's differently intelligent than us. AI is not a killer robot. AI is not only for geniuses, it's for everybody. It's not only for people in tech cities, and it's not always physical. In fact, it's most likely not to be physical. Conclusions and takeaways. AI should be used responsibly and ethically. AI can be a powerful tool. It is a powerful tool, and it can be used to overcome equity. Okay, that survey there goes to the San Diego Community College. So please don't hit that one. But thank you very much, and we'll see how this lecture goes.